Next, we're going to work on all of the pockets. We're going to get them ready to get pinned and sewn together. I mark everything at this point. I chalk all my pockets. This is the tool arm pocket. And what I'm marking is all of my seam allowances and all my folds. This is a lot of top stitching. It's a semi-complicated thing. So it's much easier just to mark everything in chalk and be done with it. That way I don't have to second guess myself. So I'm just putting a little mark everywhere that needs one. Fold it over and mark it down here. Like with any sewing project, none of this is actually super critical. If I'm a little off, I'm a little off. No one is going to come up to me and measure my seams. And if they do, I'm not going to waste time with people like that. So, that is everything we need to mark on this one. And fold it over here along the top seam, along this top seam here. We fold it over and then we're folding it over again, and we're going to put a top stitch here and a top stitch here. That's in a little bit. On an Imperial flight suit, there are only 4 pockets that you need to do this with. 1 on each arm and then 1 on each leg. Fold this over again. Pin through the whole thing. Pin through the whole thing. There we go. I know it's not overtly easy to see right now, but it will be. So, we have this seam folded over and this seam folded over. That way there's not a raw edge when you put the arm tools in. This one's done, we set it aside. We do the same thing for the leg pockets. Well, the same thing for the arm pocket and the leg pockets. This is my extra large pattern. I lent out my large pattern and haven't gotten it back yet. So, we adapt. The same seam allowance. The pockets are just a little smaller. Now the next 3 are going to be exactly the same. This is the arm. Same thing we just did. Fold the top over, pin it down, helps you go through both pieces of fabric. And fold it again, pin it down, pin it down, that pin, down, and pin along the seam. That one's done for now. Exact same thing for the legs. Except with these we can move a little faster. This can also be done by pressing instead of pinning, but you know, I have to get out my ironing board in the iron, heat everything up. Ain't got no time for that. Next pocket down. Done. While I'm here, I have everything set up and I'm chalking. I like to chalk the rest of them too, because these all get chalked and folded under. So we put a mark here at the top of the hip pocket, back of the hip pocket, and on the very top. Since this is already there, that lines up with that. So good top, or side I guess. Bottom, bottom, side, and bottom. Now we're going to do the same thing for the chest pockets and the other hip pocket. And this process is the same for all 4 of those pockets. Now these, I do the bottom fold first. And then the sides. And on these we can clip the corners. So when we fold them over, they aren't exposed. They don't show up nearly as much. So in this, get a pin going this way. Now in these, I tend to fold them over at a 45 first. So that's folded over. And then fold it this way. That way, my corner is a sharp corner. I don't have anything weird sticking out anywhere. It's a little more complicated because you have to fold it at a 45. I don't know how well you can see that. And then fold it over. Take some practice. Luckily we have 3 more pockets to practice on. $45, and fold it over. There. Now we do that to the other 3 pockets. Tend to keep them separated because we won't need these for a while. Okay, pockets are done. Onto the chest pieces. So again, since I'm doing a different sized piece than my pattern piece, there'll be slight variations here and there. Patterns are a living thing, constantly changing, constantly moving. You learn something new, you change how you do something. Different types of jumpsuits have the chest pockets end differently than other ones. For A New Hope, which is what this is going to be, the pockets end 1/2 inch above the belt. For that, you need to cut the extra piece off. The pattern is probably just going to be for A New Hope and just be done with it, because nobody's going to be like, hey, that's a Return of the Jedi jumpsuit. The differences are so subtle that unless you really know what you're looking for, nobody's going to pay attention. At least they shouldn't. After all, this is just for fun. This is just costuming. And start by sewing the very top stitch. On to the next one. Now we pull the pins. Oh wait, not yet. I'm sorry. We do this stitch first. Then we pull the pins. And again, we're doing just like the top stitch, but here we're going to be about 1 mil away from the edge. And we do that with the other 3. Threads. Now we pull all the pins. 3 pockets get Velcro, since they're going away from the body, they get the fuzzy side of the, or the rough side of the Velcro. You want to put it about 1/2 inch from the top and centered. And I found the easiest way to center these is to move it all the way to one side of the chalk. Measure the difference. So this is 1 inch. So we mark 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. And that is where that goes. So we do a quick pin right through the center. We do the same thing to the other ones. That's 2 inches. This pin really isn't to hold it exactly in place, it's just to get it close. I'll pull the pin and realign it when I start to sew. And since the leg pockets are the same, 1 inch, 1 inch, and 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch. I know I switch between metric and imperial constantly when I sew. My machine's display is in metric, so I think in metric when I'm messing with that. When I'm actually measuring things and setting everything up, I think in imperial. So I switch between the two. Sorry, it happens. And again with this, we're going with a standard zigzag. On my machine, that's a number 4. Nothing important, nothing major. Let me just start stitching. I want the edge, I want it to be right on the edge. Turn, stitch, turn, stitch. My machine appears to wobble now. Turn, stitch. And finish it across. The other 3 are the exact same. It's going to be one of those days. Yep. And back to where we were. last piece of Velcro to go on the pockets. Now I take a minute to trim off any loose threads. Then we fold and pin like everything else. So we pin them, again starting at the bottom. Bring the pins over. It's just like we did before. Most of this project is just doing the same thing you just did before. It's easy. By the end of it, you'll be like, oh, I can make a jumpsuit, and I know my sewing machine. It's kind of the point. Fold the corner. This one, since it's a 45 here, we don't even need to fold the corner. We just fold it normal, and the corner sorts itself out. The only one in the whole project. Done. So that only leaves the arm pocket and the comm pad left on the sleeves, and then we can start putting the sleeves together. And that's going to be exciting, because that's when the whole project starts actually coming together. Instead of a bunch of pieces of fabric, you have a jumpsuit. It's exciting. It's fun. It's my favorite part. It's not my favorite part. My favorite part is when it's done and I don't have to do it anymore. Keep missing my thread. I keep forgetting to cut corners. I am not on my game today. That. Start with the corners. Bottom. We'll go over there because it's a leg pocket. And the last of the pockets. Corner, fold it over. There we go. It's all of the pockets, minus the compad window, as I'm not in the mood for it right now. Next is the back piece. We're going to put the wings on, stitch everything together. Slowly and steadily, we're going to get this done.